Robots in the kitchen. They're coming to a fast casual restaurant near you.
Welcome to Plain English, the podcast that goes at the right speed for English language learners. Listen now and read the transcript online at plainenglish.com. Now, here's Jeff, your host for today's episode.
A new generation of robots is set to transform the fast casual restaurant market by bringing down costs and speeding up the process of ordering lunch. Welcome to Plain English, episode number 70 for Monday, July 23rd, 2018. I'm Jeff. The producer of the program is JR, and you are listening to the podcast that goes at the right speed for English learners. The transcript of today's program can be found at plainenglish.com/70. As always, the transcript includes instant translations of the hardest words and phrases from English to now 6 languages. They are Italian, Spanish, Portuguese, French, Chinese, and Japanese. We love hearing from listeners, so please send JR and me a note on either Facebook or Twitter. Our username is Plain English Pod on both. Hey, I have some news for those of you who have Android and are listening on Spotify. It's great that you are listening on Spotify, and if you like listening there because you are already using that app, that's fantastic. If, however, you want to try a new way of listening, Google just launched something called Google Podcasts, and it's a way you can download and organize all the podcasts that you might listen to. Now, this podcast, Plain English, is obviously your favorite, but there are other good ones out there in every language, and Google Podcasts is a good app to use to discover new things, to listen to, and to organize your podcast library. If you're an iPhone user, you already have an app called Apple Podcasts, whether you know it or not. If you're listening on an iPhone on Spotify, you can just search your phone for the word podcasts, and you'll probably see the purple icon come up. So that's just a new option for those of you who first discovered the program on Spotify. They say robots and computers are out to take all of our jobs someday. First in manufacturing, then in customer service with chatbots and touchscreens. Teaching has been affected by online courses. Maybe soon delivery and transportation jobs will be at risk. My day job is in business consulting, and a lot of what we do is susceptible to automation in the future. There's even a website called willrobotstakemyjob.com, which estimates that 47% of American jobs could be automated someday. But if you thought the act of creating a gourmet, delicious meal is something a robot could never do, then think again. Robots in the kitchen were mostly a joke until recently, but now several companies have prototypes that can create gourmet meals with minimal, or in some cases, no human interaction. Take burgers, that classic American food, right? It's one of those things that seems simple to cook until you try to program a robot to do it. The technology has come a long way since Flippy, a robotic arm at a California restaurant that would automatically flip a burger. Flipping the meat on the grill, of course, is not the hardest or most labor-intensive part of the act of cooking a good burger, so Flippy was more of a publicity stunt than any true innovation in robotics. But now, and why does this always happen in California? Now, there's a restaurant in San Francisco called Creator, and Creator claims to make a gourmet burger from scratch with absolutely no human intervention whatsoever. Here's what it does. It grinds the meat. Okay, that's pretty cool. You almost never see a restaurant grind its meat when the order is placed. It grinds the meat, forms the burgers, grills them to perfection, chops tomatoes, slices the cheese to go on top, cuts and toasts the bun, puts on all manner of seasonings, sauces, and other toppings, and finally, it wraps the whole creation up in a bag without crushing it and without spilling the toppings all over the place. It took the creators 8 years to get the process right. It's a beast, about 2 square meters, but it can make 120 burgers per hour. So now you might be thinking, okay, burgers, come on. That's just one menu item out of the thousands of things that can be cooked in a kitchen. And making a burger is still a pretty simple thing. So let me introduce you to a restaurant called Spice in the downtown Crossing neighborhood of Boston, Massachusetts. Spice opened at the end of April and is the brainchild of students at the Massachusetts Institute of Technology, a prestigious engineering school near Boston. The students wanted to get good, casual food, but couldn't pay the $10 to $12 that a decent meal costs. And we're not talking a nice restaurant, but just something with a higher quality than fast food. So the students teamed up with French chef Daniel Boulud to develop a menu of interesting, nutritious, and high-quality foods that could be mostly prepared by robots, thereby keeping costs low. Customers order on touch screens, and the robots then select and drop the ingredients of your Moroccan bowl, for example, into the frying pan and serve it up. There are some humans there to help guide you through the process and add some customization to your meals if necessary. But speed is king in the downtown area full of office workers, and they say they can create these dishes in 3 minutes total at a cost of just $7.50, well below what a meal with equal quality would cost at another restaurant. So are some of you still skeptical? First, we had burgers, not too hard to make, not a lot of real skill involved. Now Spice, all they really do is drop the ingredients into the frying pan and stir it up. Big deal. If you're still skeptical of robots in the kitchen, then brace yourself for a company called Moly. Now, it's not here yet, but this startup company flips the thinking of robotics around 180 degrees. The other innovations started by thinking about a robot or a machine and asking what a typical robotic machine can do. Molly decided to start with what a chef does. So they had real-life chefs work under the supervision of detailed 3D cameras and motion sensory gloves, and then designed a machine that has robotic arms that can mimic all the actions of a master chef at work. According to the company, the Molly robotic kitchen will be able to cook 2,000 recipes as long as the ingredients are all loaded into predetermined locations. As JR would say, that sounds like it's del futuro, from the future. Indeed it is. I don't need a robot in my kitchen that can cook 2,000 recipes. But do you think they could make a cheap one that cooks, say, 10 recipes? Oh, and does the food shopping too? That could change everything. I'd like to say hi to a couple of listeners today. Simone from Cologne, Germany, wrote to say that she's practicing English as preparation for a visit to Los Angeles soon. And Andrea from Italy is thrilled with the new Italian translations on our website. She is an engineering student and lives near Rome. I wonder what the Italians think about automated cooking, since big family meals are such an important part of the culture there. I'm trying to picture what would happen if you told an Italian grandmother that you could prepare stuffed shells or ricotta pie with a robot. I think you'd get smacked with a wooden spoon. That's what I think. Maybe Andrea can try that out with her relatives and let us know how it goes. Simone, Andrea, thanks for listening and for being part of Plain English. Brace yourself. That's the English phrase I'm going to tell you about today. It's a good one. It means prepare yourself for a disaster. Literally, it means to cross your arms in front of you to protect yourself from danger. If you're in a car, and I hope this never happens, but if you're a passenger in a car and you think there's going to be a crash soon, you might brace yourself by hiding your head behind your arms. But in common use, brace yourself just means, uh-oh, something bad is coming. Prepare yourself. It could be physical, or it could just be anything unpleasant. So here's how you heard it originally. If you think that robots or machines could never make a real chef-inspired dish, that you really need a highly trained, highly skilled person to do that, brace yourself, because a company in London is training a machine to cook from a recipe book of 2,000 dishes. Get ready. The day when machines take over the kitchen is coming. Brace yourself. So when Andrea goes home next time and strolls into her mom's kitchen or her nana's kitchen, the aroma of fresh marinara sauce in the air, and casually says, "Hey, I don't know why you're making all these delicious recipes by hand. You know, in America, they have robots that can do this all a lot faster." She'll need to brace herself for what comes next, right? Prepare yourself for the coming disaster. When it's 5 a.m. in Washington, D.C., and the American president's Twitter account starts lighting up with tweets, brace yourself. You never know what it's going to be, but just brace yourself. Or maybe you're sitting in an English pub in London, sipping a Guinness, digging into your fish and chips, trying to forget the terrible sequence of events that led to your football team placing third in the World Cup. And then an unruly band of French fans marches into the pub, all in high spirits, and they order a round of Kronenberg to celebrate their victory at the World Cup. Brace yourself. Thanks for listening to today's Plain English. Remember, we're here every Monday and Thursday, and listening for 15 minutes twice a week is great practice, whether you're commuting in the car, on the bus, maybe working out at the gym, or just getting some time alone at home after everyone else goes to bed. Wherever and whenever you listen, it's great to have each and every one of you with us. JR and I will be back on Thursday.